those settlers who do a lot of aggressions against the people. And as you know, we are unarmed people and they are armed people. They have weapons and we only have our hands.
Meanwhile, Israeli security forces have launched a large-scale manhunt over the last 2 nights for the terrorists who shot and critically wounded yeshiva students at a bus stop on
Israeli
Sunday.
Student
3 of them
Evyatar
shot.
succumbing to his critical injuries Wednesday night following a drive-by shooting attack at the Tapuach Junction in the West Bank. And the funeral taking place Thursday morning in Kiryat Moshe. Friends from the yeshiva describing Evyatar as a quiet and
gentle person. In a world plagued with anti-Israel propaganda, Paul Yavel presents the Joshua and Caleb Report, a positive voice of truth straight from Israel's heartland.
Guys, we're actually on location at a bus stop at Tapuach Junction, which is in the middle of the Samaria region. And on Sunday, May 2nd, a Palestinian terrorist from the town of Turimasaya, which we're gonna go to later in the show, drove right by, right here. And when he got to this bus stop, he slowed down almost to a stop, and a person in the passenger seat leans out the window with a gun and opens fire. 3 19-year-old yeshiva students who were on their way to Itamar were standing in this bus stop. All 3 of them were hit, 2 of them critically injured, and 1 of them sadly actually passed away a few days later, which actually was just a few hours before the terrorist was caught.
You're standing at a bus stop, ready to jump on a bus, and literally shots begin to just fire around you. Literally. Look, here's my head. This shot flies right past and unfortunately hits and kills 1 and wounds 2 others. There's evidence of more here. There's another shot fired right here at this bus stop. Guys, this is things that we're just not seeing other places. Guys, this stuff has to stop. This can't be allowed to happen.
Okay guys, we actually, to be honest, we don't exactly know where we're going or what we're doing here, but we're gonna try and follow the exact route that the terrorist would have driven right after he left the scene of the shooting attack that we just came from in Tapuach Junction. So we just drove about probably half a kilometer past the junction. We took a right because, as we understand it, the getaway car was found in an Arab village not too far down here. So here we go. So Fatah is the controlling faction of the Palestinian Authority. Hamas controls Gaza, Fatah controls the Palestinian Authority. This is the exact quote of the message that they sent to people living in the southern Nablus area. Our lauded people, honored members of our people, we call on you to get rid of the contents that were stored in the security cameras of your homes or your businesses today, and not to transfer any media content among yourselves that the occupation, Israel, is spreading. So right after the attack, the terrorist gets away, he drives along this route. Palestinian Authority sends a message to all of the people on this road that we're driving right now that says, if you have any footage on your security cameras, delete it. Why? Because they know the IDF will be coming along and asking for that footage so that they can track down the murderer and capture him.
Could have very well happened right here.
Oh yeah.
Brand new.
Oh, those are tires.
Burning. Well, obviously the IDF came in here to sort things out and find the terrorist.
Yeah.
Looks like that car over there.
It's nice to go that way, right? Yep.
But the people burned the car to try to erase evidence of the terrorist and any information that would lead to his arrest. Right here in this town of Akraba.
We'll be right back with the rest of the show, but first, did you know that in addition to the Joshua and Caleb Report show, we have an entire Joshua and Caleb network? Do you want to learn about the weekly Torah portion from a Jewish perspective? Join Christian Zionist Zach Waller and Orthodox Jewish Rabbi Yonadav Zar as they dive into the Torah portion every Thursday on the Heartland Connection. If you want to get to know the people, land, and traditions of Israel, Talking Israel, hosted by Tommy Waller and premiering every Monday, is the perfect show for you. Tommy is joined by inspiring guests from Israel who share powerful insights from the land and people of Israel every single week. If you're a reader, every Friday we publish a short, easy-to-read article on the Heartland Report. From the latest news from Israel, teachings based on the holidays, and biblical feasts or special stories from the Heartland, the Heartland Report is always filtered through a biblical and prophetic lens. You can get any or all of this content entirely for free on the Joshua and Caleb Network. You just have to go to joshuaandcaleb.com and sign up for the content of your choice, or just sign up for all of it. Don't settle for lies and negativity when it comes to Israel. Subscribe for free to the Joshua and Caleb Network and become a powerful, confident voice for Israel today. Just go to joshuaandcaleb.com and subscribe completely free today. So we were at Tapuach Junction where the terrorist attack happened. We drove to the village where the terrorist fled, left his car, and where the IDF found the vehicle. Now we're actually headed to Shiloh, might notice Shiloh, which is right next to the town of Turimasaya where the terrorist is from. There we're going to meet with an Israeli security professional that's been involved in a lot of anti-terrorism and also just providing security for the region. And if I'm correct, I believe he's already working on upgrading the security at the junction where we were just at.
That's right, and who better to talk to than the very neighbor? Shiloh's the neighboring town to Turimasaya.
That's right.
Okay, Mark, so as the head security of this region for years and years, former, you've had a lot of experience with this town. We're overlooking the town of Turimasaya now. You're from Shiloh. You ran security here for how many years?
10 years in the region.
And the whole security of the region. You've got experience here in Turimasaya, like just about nobody else. The mayor, when we were in the village the other day, he told us that they don't have guns. Obviously, we know that's just flat out not true because the terrorist attack that we're talking about today, he obviously had a gun, and his house is just right here in this town. As the former head of security and working a lot here, what would you say to the mayor when he says something like that? They don't have guns here, is that?
Well, look, first of all, the mayor doesn't know what's happening in every house. I've personally been shot at from Turimasaya a number of times, you know, and I'm not saying that to disgrace the village. Remember, there's good people and bad people everywhere. And I've had a lot of good experiences also with Turimasaya, with the bed.
Right.
A few minutes ago, you were talking about that, and maybe you could explain a little bit, because you have people on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, some people anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian, that says, you know, the Jews are killing Palestinians every day. And then you have the other side that, you know, all Palestinians are bad. So can you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure. First of all, regarding that, remember, in the outside world, the way that social media is happening, and again, this is, it's happening, and I'm looking at all these people who are involved in the conflict, if you will, on both sides. So the outside world loves reading that Israelis, the IDF, or settlers, or Jews, or however you want to label it, are killing Palestinians every day. Now, if you go in to the Palestinian news, the regular news that these guys are reading, they're not even reading that. They see the reality on the ground that this isn't happening, and a lot of this propaganda that's going on is really intent on fanning the flames, really, of conflict. So in this particular incident, this attack, you have a guy who was in the States for a number of years, Florida.
An American?
Well, he became an American. He is an American citizen. He is an American citizen. And he came back here while he got himself in a lot of trouble also. And it seems that maybe Hamas offered him a way out. Now, he was also he saw the extremism. This is like a classic case. There's this guy living there trying to make his life well, and yet he's hearing all this stuff, whether in the mosque and this, and the Israelis are this, that we are the devil incarnate. And of course, he's going to develop these opinions. Now he comes back, and we're going to keep saying this is hypothetical theory right now. I mean, the news will come out, who knows when, whether it probably won't be seen anyway, but he's offered a way out and said, look, we're going to take care of all your gambling problems, we're going to take care of your marital problems, whatever. And here you have a chance to do something and maybe die as a shaheed, right? As a martyr. And hey, works. Because why else? He's got, I forgot how many kids he's got. He's got a beautiful house. Beautiful. This guy is like set. So you say, what's the motive going on? Now this is happening more and more, which even in the Israeli news, I'd like to say that it's skewed. Oh, terrorist does this. They are not terrorists. They're committing acts of terror. But the whole thing, where in the States, what it's called now is death by cop. So here they like to call it death by IDF, death by settler. And so because they're offered ways out of either having their family killed, right? The honor killings and all that, or you can die, and then of course you get money, and they have to be thankful to the U.S. tax system, the U.S. budgets that are helping the PA or whatever, and it continues to enable it. It's a way for them to make a living, if you will.
All right, Marc, it's been fantastic. Thanks for your professional view on the topic.
Enjoy.
So as we said, we're not going into Turimasaya today. It's, I would say, a little bit sketchy in the town right now. But we're right here. This is Turimasaya. We're gonna go to their Facebook page. You guys can check out their Facebook page too. We're not making up anything. We're just gonna pull it up right here.
I actually tried to contact him because I wanted to get a statement from the mayor. We met the mayor. He's a nice guy. We had a great interview from him in our last show. And I thought maybe he'd have a statement, but I sent them 3 different messages. That was the only contact info I could find on their Facebook page, and no response so far. In the meantime, they're posting like every 3 hours about the events that have been happening.
Can I tell you, Luke, I honestly am appalled when I read what I really just did not expect it. We went into this town, we met the people of this town last month.
Right.
I really did not expect to hear this. Literally, a man from this town, as we talked about, we just discovered he's American, well-to-do man in this town, just goes out with a gun and starts shooting people at the bus stop. And then the response of the town, here's just a Facebook post here. It says, stand tall like a minaret. You don't know a minaret, that's the tallest thing in this whole city.
The mosque.
The mosque. And it says, and send your bullets. This is on Turimasaya.com, says this. And then it says, may Allah be with you and may Allah protect you, to the terrorist.
Okay, and right when they thought they'd captured the terrorists, this is what they published on their Facebook page. Hebrew media publishes news about the arrest of a terrorist operation outlet after he was invaded by in Silwad. This is Google Translate from Arabic here. Oh, Allah be with him and protect him. We'll keep you informed if it's confirmed. Just a few minutes later, another post. The arrest of Shalabi, the terrorist, from the town of Turimasaya in the town of Silwad, which is a little bit that way. Tonight, the occupation accuses him of carrying out a operation 3 days ago, which led to the death of a settler and 2 others seriously injured. God protect him and be with him. So, whatever you thought. I mean, nice people, amazing town, but I would say majority of them are supporting this murder and murderer. Yeah. And not only that, but there's already footage and photos of his house, which is a crazy house. You guys saw the beautiful mansions, the Hollywood Hills style houses that are in this town before. This guy lives in one of them. Josh, you gotta see this footage.
Well, I think that it's so important for people to understand, because most people think that Arabs, because of oppression by the Israeli, whatever they call it, the Israeli forces that are attacking them somehow, are causing them to cause harm to Israelis because they're mistreated somehow.
Right.
Guys, this person,
no, look at this.
These houses back here, look, these are the finest houses you will find in this country. This person is probably the wealthiest. I mean, unbelievable house.
Absolutely.
There's no poverty going on here that would make this man threaten to do something. Like, this is not because of Israel. That's the bottom line.
No, for sure.
This is because of propaganda and for some other reason, like maybe some more money.
Josh, there's one other thing we have to talk about.
Salaries.
This man, there's an actual chart depending on how many, and here's how it goes. It's a Palestinian martyr fund. We call it pay to slay. If a Palestinian commits a terrorist attack, he automatically begins receiving a salary. If he's killed, his family gets a salary. They get benefits, all kinds of crazy stuff. But they actually have a chart. If you're gonna spend 0 to 3 years in jail, you get $400.
So that means if you don't kill an Israeli, you don't get paid as much.
$400. Because this man actually killed someone, seriously injured 2 others, I'm gonna say that he's gonna get at least 30 years. The 30 years plus is the highest it goes on this chart, gets $4,438 a month. $3,500. Additions, his wife is gonna get 300 shekels per month. Every child that he has is gonna get another 50 shekels. It goes on and on. Not only that, but they have other benefits, health care, Social Security. If he ever gets out of jail, he automatically gets hired by the Palestinian Authority. This stuff just goes on and on and on. So whether or not he did this to support his family, obviously it seems like he was wealthy, he's automatically going to begin getting a salary of more than $3,500 a month, because guaranteed he has a wife, he has a big family, he has many children, I'm sure, as typical. He could be getting $4,000 a month as a salary, sitting in an Israeli prison, his family probably living here in Turimasaya, continuing on.
So here's what we got to tell you. As an American citizen, this man living in this town has committed such a terrible crime against Israeli citizens, is going to be paid by American tax dollars. The new funding that's coming into to the PA, Palestinian Authority, from America is going to go straight to this man's pocket with exactly what you just outlined. Americans, not acceptable. Not acceptable. Can't happen. Let's stop this thing. The pay to slay has to stop. We can't see Arabs being funded to kill Jews. And the only reason why, and we're going to talk about it in just a bit here, why Yehuda is dead right now is because he was a Jewish boy living in Israel. That was his only crime. We've seen the Arab response to horrific actions that we've just documented today. Arabs praise terrorists, they sponsor terrorists, pay for terrorists to do their work, their horrific work of murder. What's on the Jewish side? That's what we're going to find out now. What do the Jewish people do? They certainly aren't paying people to kill Arabs. That's just not happening. There's just no story anywhere close to the same on the other side. And the other side, they're actually building, and that's where we're going now. We're going to go check out a new community that's being built in honor of life.
Yeah, we actually are recording this video just a few days after the terrorist attack happened, and there is already a brand new community. Look at this. You can even actually see they already have a sign,
Evyatar,
that's being built, and it's because this is the Jewish people's response to terrorism, is they say we're going to establish more life on the mountains of Israel.
Nati, we just traveled around this morning. We saw the Arab response. It's unbelievable what we found. What's the Jewish response? Tell us where we're at, this new community.
We are here in Evyatar. This place was established 7 years ago in the name of Evyatar Borovsky, a father of 5 who was hitchhiking in Tapuach Junction he was a medical clown, and he was stabbed to death, leaving a widow and orphans. So we came here. This is a government land of Israel, and we said that what is the purpose of the terror? Why does radical Islam want to kill us? Why all the normal people from normal villages, rich people, want to kill the Jewish people? Because they understand this is a divine war, and they understand they want to uproot us from here. They understand that if they want to stop the process of redemption, of bringing Mashiach, they need to, God forbid, fight us as much as we can. And our answer for that, one of the answers, this is not only the answer, because we need to fight terror and we need to bring justice. One of the answers is to bring here and to rebuild Israel and to rebuild our covenant to this land. So what we need to do, our job, our mission that God gave to us, is to come here into heritage land, go and heritage the land of Israel, all the tribes. And this is what we are trying to do. And we cannot do it alone. We need all the tribes to come in together to help us with that. And it's something, it's a holy work. So what we did here in Evyatar, we did it big. We are knocking on the door of God and we ask Him to open it. And it's His choice. Hopefully it will work. We put here a lot of money in infrastructures. We have 25 families this Shabbat going to stay here.
This in the last 3 days,
and
4 days?
This is in 24, and it's a unique opportunity also to see how we do that, and we do it big time. We say, let's glorify Hashem, bring a big response to what is happening here. Hopefully, there is a lot of work to do. It's written in the Bible, Zion will be redeemed by judgment. So unfortunately, the judicial system here is very left and very anti what we are doing here. But we work on this government land of Israel to build. Yesterday night there was nothing here, and here you can see here the homes.
Already a small town.
The place. And today, of course, the Arabs decided to do riots to try to uproot here again. You can see all the militaries here preparing for those riots. And hopefully we'll be able to stay here a lot of Shabbatot.
Nati, so how many families are living here?
So we are preparing for this Shabbat, going to be 25 families.
That's for just a visit for the Shabbat?
For Shabbat, but also to stay. Every family put already their names.
You mean they've already moved?
On their homes. You understand? This is redemption, this is biblical Zionism, and this is the time of the hour, this is what we need to do. And there is a lot of causes, a lot of way of work and to think, but this is the heart of Israel, and this is the heart of our work. The heart of our work, to bring here families who lift everything. There is no electricity, there is no water. It's look amazing after what? After nothing. Look, just now we are building those places. It's look amazing, and we want to build more, that more people will be able to come here, and we will
25
be able to stay
families
forever.
already want to live here?
25 families already in 24 hours want to live, and they will be here in Shabbat. And look,
the family names right there.
The family names on the doors.
Amazing. This is amazing. Okay, it's almost like Abraham when you go and you dwell in the land. This is what the Bible says you're supposed to do.
Yes, and you stick in God and you go and you do what God told you. And the Bible is full of this. Our enemies, what make me upset is our enemies are so focused on what they are doing to demolish Israel and not to allow us to redeem this land and to bring Mashiach. And this is why we need to be focused more and more and to understand our goal and our job. The Bible is not only fairy tales, it's something serious to take seriously, and this is Biblical Zionism 2021, and this is what everybody needs to connect.
You live here now?
We live here, we have 8 children, 5 grandchildren. Hello.
כל הכבוד, כל הכבוד.
בבקשה בשמחה.
Hey, how are you? כל הכבוד, כל הכבוד. Amazing. How many children?
What?
How many children?
We have 8 children.
8 children.
We have 5 grandchildren, and we're all happy to be here in Israel, building, and our home, our place.
This is absolutely amazing.
It's amazing. We waited 2,000 years.
Now you're back.
We're back.
Not to move.
Never.
Today we've learned about the Arab support of terrorism in this region of Judea and Samaria. We've also dug in a little bit deeper to find out exactly what the response is. What's the Arab response? What's the Jewish response?
We would like to say that we are mourning with the family of Yehuda Guetta, the student that was murdered at Tapuach Junction. You can also be praying for Amichai and Benaiah, who were also injured. All 3 of them 19-year-old yeshiva students on their way to school.
Guys, far too long the international community has been completely silent in horrible, murderous attacks against the Jewish nation and against the families of Israel. This has got to stop. The international community, we must speak up and we must say what the truth is. The truth is this is unacceptable and should never happen again. We state that here. No more do we have governments supporting such terrible attacks against the Jewish people. Luke, from right here, we're telling you, this is the truth. This cannot go on any longer, and the international community must not be silent any longer.
Guys, if you don't want to miss any more content or shows from the Joshua and Caleb Report, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell right here on YouTube. If you want to get all the rest of our content completely free, sign up for the network at joshuaandcaleb.com. And if you want to support our work and help us create more shows just like this, cutting edge on Israel's front lines, the stories that are happening, boots on the ground, you can support us by giving us a donation or signing up at patreon.com/Joshua and Caleb. Be strong, be courageous, and be the voice of Joshua and Caleb in your generation.
Hi guys, if you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We also have tons more incredible content straight from Israel's heartland, which you can find completely free at joshuaandcaleb.com. If you're interested in signing up for a life-changing volunteer program in Israel's heartland, you can go to serveisrael.com. We host Christians from all over the world to help plant trees, harvest grapes, prune vines, and basically help farmers all over Judea and Samaria, all while experiencing the land and people of Israel in a way that you're never going to get on a 10-day tour. Just go to serveisrael.com to find out more information.